on Mornings in the Lab, we're going to dive deep into how you find your why. Yeah, if you're a leader, are you leading because you're a why or because somebody else's why? That why is going to turbocharge your leadership. Oh, yeah, baby. We're joined by the phenomenal Patrick Kelly, the tattooed nerd. Hey, JM, I see you there in the comments. Thanks for joining me first thing in the show this morning. And listen, guys, we're going to reveal what happened when one of us trained like a strongman for 30 days. Spoiler alert, it's not produced for Jimmy. And it sure as hell wasn't Uncle Keith. I think it might be Uncle Johnny, who's showing up here a few minutes from now. Johnny's He trained like a strongman forever. We're going to ask ourselves the question, what happens if somebody trained for 30 days like a strongman? What happens? What happens? Plus, learn powerful ways to redirect any meeting and reclaim some sanity. But guys, listen, before you get started, first, I invite you to hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment below, come say hello, come get into the comments and introduce yourself to myself, producer Jimmy, Patrick Kelly, and Jon Andersen coming up here today. And guys, listen, remember, this is an R-rated experience. So if you got some kids around, you're either going to introduce them to new words or you're going to tell them to get out of the room, or there's going to be an education in new words and new perhaps sexual activities. Guys, listen, consider us your morning accountability partner, and we're free. Yeah, we go every single day here, 8 o'clock Eastern time, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. The only show to help you guys get your ass out of bed. We don't come here and beat you up. No negative nanny bullshit. No, positive, inspiring conversation to get going. So if you're looking for a reason to stay in bed, well, stay in bed. You do that, you're going to hit the snooze button. You're going to be 9 minutes behind the guy who didn't. If you hit the snooze button twice, like I know many of us do, you're now 18 minutes behind. You do that all year, you're a week behind the guy who has not done that. And by any indication, Patrick, our guest Kelly, did not hit the snooze button today. He was in the green room quite early this morning. So he strikes me as a fellow that's probably ahead of you if you are laying in bed right now wondering what you are going to do next. So guys, get up, get after it. We're here in the loop here today. It's the Friday loop, getting after before the weekend comes. And producer Jimmy, I get in the lab this morning and Jimmy's like, hey, how was your run this morning? I'm like, how was my run? How did you know? He's like, yeah, look at your face. So I stepped back and I grabbed my proverbial Uncle Keith towel and I'm wiping the sweat off. Big lift this morning, did a back and chest day first thing this morning. I didn't listen to Johnny though. It was like, I took a little bit of a break after that. Then I got my run in. So I may have contradicted one or the other, but I got my lift in, got my run in, and life is good today on a Friday of the loop. What a great week we've had, man, in the lab, man. We had Jacob Newton here yesterday. If you guys don't know who Jacob Newton is, I'm sorry. I'm absolutely sorry. Jacob joined us yesterday, former professional hockey player, has had a journey in life. Now he's out there coaching folks about mindset, which you know we are big fans about here in the lab. In order to achieve big goals, in order to achieve big goals in business, in order to achieve big goals in the gym, in order to achieve big goals in your family and your life, it all starts up here. And Jacob Newton is a fellow who was teaching us all about that yesterday. So I invite you to go back and listen to yesterday's show if you've missed yesterday's show with Jacob Newton. What else we got going on here today, Jimmy? I got a couple of things that I thought I would throw on the table this morning. But Jim, I was going to throw the conversation out about the electric helicopter, that personal Jetson One that I teased it out here this morning. And unfortunately, there's a big tragedy yesterday in New York City. A helicopter fell out of the sky. And Jimmy, I got to tell you, man. Well, yes, we're going to be showing this eVTOL here in a couple of minutes. I have spent a bunch of time on helicopters in my lifetime. And I read a piece here today that quite struck me. And it was from an engineer, Jimmy. And the guy's like, hey, I don't know if I could fly in a piece of equipment that has only one point of failure. And it struck me. I'm like, oh, yes, that's, very interesting piece of information to absorb. I've been on a helicopter many times. I have flown for nefarious reasons, fun reasons. But yesterday there was an unfortunate accident where a helicopter fell out of the sky. A bunch of people perished in New York City. But the point I'm bringing up is apparently flying cars are on their way. And Jimmy, I think you got a video for us about an electric eVTOL. What's an eVTOL, you guys? It's an electric vehicle that takes off and lands. Yeah, eVTOL, eVTOL. It's a new word in the dictionary. Apparently, I learned it myself. It's funny. I was doing some research. This thing came across my feed. eVTOL. What the fuck's an eVTOL? eVTOL. It's an electric vehicle takeoff landing. So I know Johnny, who I see coming into the lab here this morning, is going to be excited to see this. Hey, Jimmy, you got that eVTOL video running here before we get that? Johnny, what's going on, my brother?
What's up, baby? My apologies. I'm a little late. I mean, I was, the body was deciding to get rid of some waste. It was like every time I thought I was done, I get myself cleaned up. I had to go back. Thank God for the bidet.
Thank God. Thank God for the bidet. There's the quote of the morning with Jon Andersen. Johnny, I was just about to show something here to our audience this morning about eVTOLs. No, Johnny, Jimmy, you got, okay, Jimmy, you got that one up there? Jimmy, let's throw the electric vehicle up there first instead of the barges. I want to see the electric vehicle one. That one is quite fascinating to me. So, Johnny, a couple things. Unfortunately, there was an accident yesterday in New York City. A helicopter fell from the sky. A bunch of people perished. Really, really tragic incident. I bring it up.
You say fell from the sky? Like, did it literally just like to stop working and just go down, or was there some sort of an issue? What was the?
It just apparently fell from the sky. I saw some video of it, and the rotor fell off, man. There's no fucking rotor.
Shit.
The rotor fell off, and
Jesus Christ!
I know. So 6 people unfortunately perished. Tragic incident. I saw the video. All of a sudden, so I'll just use the analogy like this rock just falling from the sky, just spinning. There's no rotor on it, no tail. Like Johnny, no tail and no rotor. It's like it all fell apart. It's just bizarre. But I bring it up because there's a company out of the States called and they've developed a vehicle called the Jetson One. And I know all of our men out there who love sitting in traffic, driving their families, especially in California, love sitting in traffic and just hanging out with their family, just sitting there, just fucking wasting time in traffic. I know they're going to be fascinated by what I'm going to show you. So apparently there's a company called the Jetson One, and they have an eVTOL, an electric vehicle. Yeah, Johnny, that takes off and lands. And I've asked producer Jimmy to throw the video on here for us because we have
these things coming to the market, or is this like a prototype?
No, they're yeah, JM, you're stuck in traffic. Yeah, so I'm going to show. So if you can't see this right now, we're going to be running a video, but it's a personal electronic vehicle that takes off and lands. So you essentially could take off from your place in Cali. You and Terry could get into it instead of getting into the motorbikes and get up and fly your way to the Baja and then land.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our future. We talk about, getting a helicopter to bounce between our stuff.
Yeah. So after what I saw yesterday, and after my own experiences on helicopter, I told you about the helicopter trip I did. I went to Nevada a number of years ago. Then the same company that flew a few weeks later crashed and everybody perished. I think I might be done with helicopters, Johnny.
Here's the interesting thing. We ought to find out. What is the percentage people die more in helicopters and automobiles? Because we'll hear about all the fucking helicopter crashes because they're not as common. I bet you, who knows? I bet you more people fucking die in automobiles than helicopters. So it's probably safer in a helicopter than an automobile.
Perhaps. I think what gets me though with the helicopter is that it's apparently I was reading this article actually with this engineer who commented on the crash in New York, is that the helicopter only has a single point of failure. So unlike an airplane, when you're flying on an airplane, there's multiple points of failure, right? So if one engine goes out, you got a backup engine. If something,
yeah, I mean, you got fucking wings. You have a chance to fucking glide it in and set it down somewhere. With a helicopter, that fucking thing stops spinning. You're going one direction.
It's down. and I was reading this piece yesterday or this morning, and I was struck by. But Johnny, there's one pin that holds like the most important pieces together. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to question my desire to go fly on helicopters moving forward, knowing that there's just going to be one pin holding the whole thing together. I see Jimmy's got the video set up here. So Jimmy, let's run this eVTOL. Patrick, check this video. JM, if you're in traffic and if you're just listening, I invite you to go back, check this out later. But we're going to run this little video here. This is called the Jetson One, and it's a personal electronic helicopter that's like a drone you can get into and fly yourself around. Jimmy, you want to run that for us? This is the first flight, Johnny. Some dude getting in it. What's up?
Is it a one-person thing?
This one is a single unit. It's a flying your own drone. That's what I'm doing.
So it looks like a one-seater. Or am I missing something?
No, that's exactly. It's like a big drone you get into by yourself. It's it'd be like a motorcycle that flies in many ways, right? So and then I imagine they're going to introduce the two-seater ones. But yeah, there's your single version electronic helicopter.
So one of my team members has a brother who's like a freaky, crazy engineer.
Yeah.
And he actually works for a company somewhere in Northern California. I don't remember where, but probably close to Silicon, somewhere in that region where it's basically a fucking, some billionaire, like crazy billionaire. Yes. Nobody's ever heard of them. It's just most billionaires, nobody fucking has heard of them before.
It's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean, because they keep themselves concealed.
Yes.
Anyway, it's like just a fun project for him, but he's got this huge fucking company created with 50, 60 people working there, and they're developing exactly this, but he's trying to create like it's same thing, a personal drone, but he wants to make it like a 4-seater.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, because I think this is the future. I mean, you're pretty good at fucking looking the future. What do you see here?
I do think that this is part of our future. I do. Absolutely do. Yeah. I think that flying, personal, to me, it's no different than, John, motorcycles, snowmobiles. Will they become mass consumption devices? I don't know. Maybe more of a recreational vehicle, right? Where, for example, you and Terry can hop from San Diego to Baja, right? But you're probably not getting in an eVTOL and flying to come see me in Winnipeg. It's probably not going to have that capacity, right? It's just like no different that you're not getting in your motorbike and driving up to see me in Winnipeg, right? So there's different modes of transportation for different things. But yeah, I do see it as certainly something that, and then we're going to see people falling out of the sky and dying, and it's just going to be part of how.
Oh, a quick question. You 2 times you said get on your motorbike and go to Baja, get on your motorbike and come see me.
Yeah.
We only have motorbikes that go in dirt.
Yeah, well, that's yes.
You're not fucking finding me on a goddamn motorcycle out with all these idiots fucking driving around. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about everybody else.
That's right. So I did want to revisit something you said, because I want to make sure Nation hears what I say next. So Johnny did allude to many billionaires hide once they become billionaires. So I'm just inviting all of you guys to get to know Keith and Johnny over the next number of months and years, because in a few years from now, we're going to go hide as well. Because when Mornings in the Lab and this morning show platform turns into this iconic stature around the world where there's just morning shows everywhere and Keith and Johnny are the billionaires, we're going to be gone. So get to know us now, and we're going to be hiding out in our, Johnny's going to be in the Baja. I'm going to be on his compound somewhere. We're going to have producer Jimmy out there flying around the eVTOL for us doing security, and we're just going to be doing our shit, Johnny.
On a serious note, right?
What are you talking about, man? That was fucking serious, brother.
One of the things that I've kind of committed to myself is I'm not a billionaire by any means, but I've definitely figured out a way to be successful without jumping into the mainstream.
Yes, so I know you have. Yes.
And that's one of the things that I've realized that's part of my purpose is I'm going to basically, anybody who wants to know how to, because we talk about the matrix, people get in it and they can't get out.
Yes.
I have really kind of stayed outside of it,
I know you have. Yeah.
So no matter how well I do, because I'm only getting better, I want to make sure that I show as many people how to fucking live the lives they choose with basically staying outside the matrix. So that being said, when what you said happens, you're going to have to go hide by yourself.
Yeah. No. We are stuck together forever. I'll build you a bunker and we'll figure it out, my friend. We'll figure it out. We'll absolutely figure it out. Hey, Johnny, we got a guest coming up here in a few moments. He's waiting for us in the green room. Today's guest is a tattooed techie. Dude, he can talk about UCAS and donuts in the same sentence. The guy's a donut freak, man. We got to talk about donuts with this guy. And somehow he can make both irresistible. We're going to want to stick around for this one. Jimmy, before we get to the accountability check-in, I really want to show Johnny the Chinese barges I found too. John, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool.
Real quick, before we switch on the drones, check this out.
Yeah.
I don't know who fucking sent me this, but it was somebody in my family. So whenever somebody sends me a fucking social media post, I watch it because I know they're going to ask me about it.
Of course. Yeah.
But so everybody, obviously, a farm boy, if you go far enough back, right?
Yeah.
So there was this it was this guy standing there with a piece of fucking wood, like looked like a big 2x4, 2x6.
Oh, not when he woke up in the morning? No, not with the morning wood, like he actually had a wood in his hand?
Yeah, and he was standing at the edge of his cornfield, right? He was like, you could see there was like, there was grass maybe knee high and then corn that was over his head. And he's standing there like this. And all of a sudden this fucking drone about the size of what you just showed us comes fucking creeping down, right? And he fucking runs out there, throws this fucking board up there, hits one of the fucking propellers, and bam, it goes down.
Dude.
Yeah. And so I was like, what the fuck is it? So the caption basically said that there's a lot of fucking farmers that are protesting against these weird fucking drones that are coming in to observe what the fuck they're doing with their crops and stuff. What a fucking, so the first thing I thought of was, holy Christ, I mean, if it's that easy to take one of these things down, you know what I mean? Just think of it's a whole new fucking problem we've got to deal with when, piss somebody off, you know what I mean? And they could you could run out of their house and throw a fucking wooden spoon in your propeller. Well, yeah. You're going to be in deep shit.
Well, it's funny you said, because I saw a video this morning too. I was getting ready for the show. Some dude had like a drone shotgun, right? So what it does is you just a military guy just standing out there in the field, just putting up a gun in the sky and just shooting drones down. Right. So it's got
because all he's got to do is hit a propeller and the thing's fucked.
Yeah. Well, I think this one had like electronic jamming or something where it doesn't actually shoot a bullet or something. It just shoots like a fucking Star Trek array or something. I'm obviously exaggerating a point.
Some electrical charge that fucks up his computers or something.
Exactly.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
It is crazy. So, hey, Jimmy, let's run this Chinese barge thing. This is quite fascinating to me. So we all know there's a bunch of shit happening with China and Taiwan and the world, and that's not the point of this. I'm just a cool nerdy dude, and I suspect that Johnny.
So when China comes up, we're not talking about tariffs. Is that?
No, go to a different show for that one. Yeah, there's tariff conversation elsewhere. No, we're talking about cool shit China's building. Jimmy, run this video for us.
Let's go.
Check this out, man. This is really cool. Dude, these are barge.
What the fuck is that thing?
They're actually ships that are bridges.
Amphibious?
Yeah, but they've made them into bridges. So if they're going to go and invade Taiwan, they've got these barge ships that actually turn into like a bridge, so that you can actually land your boat way out in the ocean, and then it basically, like a transformer, unfolds itself. It creates a bridge.
And then people just fucking run across it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's just crazy shit, man. And what I also found fascinating is because they've militarized their commercial shipping, right? So you're building a commercial ship. It can be a military ship. It's kind of one and the same. But I saw this video saying, holy fuck, man, that's pretty crazy shit, man. That's yeah. And
dude, it's our fucking world.
I know
is changing so fast. It's like, as human beings, we're the same age.
Yes.
It's crazy. People that are alive today, right now, or our age, I should say, don't understand is we've lived in this fucking sweet spot, of existence.
Yes,
we haven't had to go through think about World War I, World War II, the Great Depression, all that. I mean, we've had the 2008, we've had COVID, we have some fucked up shit.
Yeah,
but we haven't had fucked up shit like people that are say 90 went through.
I know. So
we're all pretty fucking lucky. One of these days, something real fucking is going to happen, and people are going to it's like at that point now, son, you're not so worried about. It's like you're worried about your race.
Yes,
when things really go fucking when things really go haywire. God damn it! All this shit is changing so fast, man. It makes me wonder what is going to happen next. And by no means do I sit up late and worry about this shit, as I have no control over what's going to happen. But
I'm glad you said that, because we have no control over what's going to happen next, but I can assure you shit's going to happen next over the next 50 years, brother, because all we got to do is look at history, pal.
History. Yeah, we've never gone that long without something really messed up happening, for sure.
Exactly. All right, brother, listen, we're going to bring in Patrick Kelly. Jimmy, we're going to do the accountability check-in, and Keith and Johnny are going to sit down and meet our guest. Woo, we got energy today. What if time wasn't broken into days? And on this show, it's not. Keith and Johnny live in the loop, just the same day. Yeah, we just loop it up every single day. Yeah, loop. That's the key to success. Don't kid yourself, you guys. Stop thinking about someday. There's no someday on the calendar. There's no someday on the 7-day week. No. What we talk about here is, what if time wasn't broken into days? No more fresh starts on Monday. No waiting for next week's magic fix. Picture your life like a flywheel. always turning, always building. That is how business athletes lock in clarity, discipline, and forward drive. Each move stacks. It stacks a habit. Each rep adds weight. Each choice builds the man you're becoming. Listen, forget the restart. Don't wait for Monday. Forget the finish line. There is no finish line. Finish line is death. Yeah, that's a true story right there. Just keep turning the wheel. Get up, go. Get up, go. I invite you to come hang out with Keith and Jon. We run the loop every single day. Success isn't a race. It's a cycle of actions. Keep moving. Keep stacking. Take a habit, stack it. Keep a habit, stack it. Make a habit, stack it. Stay in momentum. If you're going to end, you got to restart again. And hey, listen, it's okay to restart. Sometimes life presents hiccups. When that hiccups is presented, we restart. We keep stacking. We stay in the momentum. There's your accountability check-in. And Rick Clody, I appreciate you, brother. I see your comments here. You got it. Looping in again on Friday with my friends in the lab. I got my round to it now, baby. Yes. And Horrid, I see you there as well, brother. Good to have you here. I saw a video of the police having an electromagnetic pulse gun to stop cars. Yeah. All that future shit is on its way out. It's pretty fascinating to say the least. Well, listen, Jimmy, let's keep it rolling, brother. We are going to be joined by Patrick Kelly, today's guest on the show here. He's Zoom's chief technology evangelist, top 50 UCAS influencer, and the kind of guy who could probably explain unified communications while doing a burnout on a Harley. Now, listen, this guy's a published author. Yeah, is he a best-selling author? We're going to ask him. He's a public speaker, a storyteller who's out here proving that tech leaders can have personality. And I suspect this guy's got some personality, perspective, and pastries. And listen, we're going to dive into his thoughts on AI, hype versus reality, the art of communicating complex tech simply, and how sharing personal stories like family life and motorcycles, and maybe ask him some questions about his tattoos, can actually strengthen your personal brand. Guys, I welcome you. I ask you to sit back and welcome the applause of our friend, Patrick Kelly. Jimmy, let's bring him up. What's going on, Patrick?
Good morning, motherfuckers. I wanted to say a fucking word on there, but the first time on a podcast I've actually cursed, so I just wanted to say it.
Yeah, there you go. So it's just
I like it. Good morning, motherfuckers. What an opening. That a baby.
Patrick, how are you, man? So you're sitting back there, and I thank you for your patience. We were going through we were talking flying helicopters, talking about Chinese barges. Good morning.
I got caught on the toilet, so we were running a little late.
Yeah. So Kelly, how are you, brother? So first of all, Keith and Jon would like to ask the proverbial morning question to all of our guests. It's the most important question you're going to be asked all day. All right. So are you ready for it?
Let's go.
What's your morning routine?
My morning routine, 5 a.m. I wake up well before the alarm wakes up. My family's 25. I typically go downstairs. I grab a Red Bull and I cruise the internet looking at stupid, pointless shit on Instagram and Facebook. And then I typically get to work and see what I have to do for the day. Look at my calendar, look at emails, look at chats.
How many minutes do you give yourself with the stupid shit?
Yeah. That's a good question, Jon. I was going to ask the same one. Yeah.
Yeah, the stupid shit. I only look at Instagram and Facebook for about 20 minutes, and then I shut it off. Then I catch up with the pointless stuff that my friends are posting, just like Jon, right? They're going to ask me about some stupid stuff. They send me a messenger, and I'm supposed to watch it. So I'll give myself about 20 minutes for that shit. And then I grab a coffee, and I get dressed, and I go to the gym, take my son to the school, and I'm back by 8, have breakfast, shower, get ready for the day.
That's awesome.
Well, I would just say, brother, if my family and friends were sending me 20 minutes worth of shit, I would tell them to slow the fuck down. That's a lot of dumb shit they're sending you, my brother.
Oh, my God. I love the fact that you mentioned Facebook and Instagram, because that's certainly a tell on our demographics, eh?
Yes, 100%.
Right? When somebody's cruising Instagram and Facebook, you know that they were born in 1924. And Keith and Johnny are right behind you there. So
it's like when your email ends in at AOL.com.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Patrick, so you're a donut lover who works at a high performance tech company. Let's talk about balancing sugar highs with cutting edge communication. How do you do both, my friend?
You know what? There's a reason I eat donuts a lot. I was I was dumb enough one point in my life to be a powerlifter, and and I wanted to be a super heavyweight. So I was 270 plus, right? So I'm not a naturally big dude, so I have to eat like a fucking maniac to get that much weight on, and it's hard to eat, 5 to 10,000 calories a day. It's literally really hard to eat chicken and broccoli and fucking eat 5,000 calories a day. So I would supplement that with like 12 Krispy Kreme donuts every day.
That is the classic powerlifters mentality.
Is that the classic?
I was gonna say, did you add some fucking pizza to it? Because then you'd really be set. Because the average powerlifter's diet is just to eat pizza.
It's shit. You think they're healthy? They are the least healthy people alive because they have to eat like idiots to be that weight.
Well, the crazy thing now is, brother, is now that powerlifting, there's still the people that think that way, but the serious ones, they fucking literally eat. It's not granted, bodybuilders eat like bodybuilders, powerlifters eat like powerlifters, but there's a specific fucking diet for these disciplines now that people stick to when they're serious. And Krispy Kremes and pizza, for the most part, don't fit in on a regular basis.
Probably not. That was, this is when I was young and dumb, right?
Oh, dumb. And keep in mind, back in those days, what you were talking about, it was just how much can you get in? That was the technology.
There was never a point for like 10 years that I was ever fucking hungry because I was always eating every minute of every day.
Brother, it's funny because that's kind of how, because I'm still a food addict. I'm a sugar addict, full blown. But I had food issues big time when I was a kid. And when I went into the phase like you're talking about, granted, I couldn't eat sugar. If I ate one fucking donut, I couldn't breathe. Yeah. But when I was constantly eating till I wasn't hungry, that's what kind of helped shift my mind that, hey, don't fucking worry about overeating. You got to do this again in fucking 2.5, 3 hours, dude.
You're hanging out with Keith and Jon Andersen and our guest, Patrick Kelly, this morning, joining us all the way. I believe, Patrick, you're joining us all the way from where? South Mills. I think where are you joining us from today?
Fort Mill, South Carolina, which is basically.
I had the words backwards there. Yeah.
Suburb of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. Are you a NASCAR guy?
I love the Carolinas, dude. Yeah. Carolinas are fucking cool, man.
No, I hate NASCAR. That's the stupidest sport in the world.
So getting in the car and turning left for 3 hours or 4 hours at a time is not a sport to you?
Just hit the gas and turn left, like for 4 hours. Yeah,
Patrick, let's start with some fun. I want to get to know you a little bit. Let's start with some myth busting. So when I found your profile, I got to get this guy on the show. This guy looks interesting to me. This guy looks quite intriguing to me. Patrick, are all tech folks really just introverted coders? Because you've clearly got a different vibe going on, Patrick Kelly.
That's a complete myth, right? We all know that there's every discipline has their introverts, their extroverts, right? They're coders. To be a coder is a whole other mind thing. Like you have to be like analytical and problem solving to a level that you're just stuck in a cubicle. That's not my life. That's not what I do. That's not what powers me, right? It's being the opposite. It's literally being able to talk a nerd level talk, but tell a person like a CFO or a CEO that is not technical, how to relay that message in a way that they understand and it resonates with them.
Yeah. That's it, dude. There's gonna be a fucking massive need for that too. Because when you get somebody that's really fucking good at what they do, they're speaking a language that other people just don't understand.
100%. Yep. Absolutely correct.
That's been my secret sauce too, has been able to be the bridge between, because Patrick, I suspect we're probably very similar demographic, the three of us here. I've had success being able to bridge that gap of talking to my peers about some of the nerdy, crazy tech stuff, but also speaking about it in layman's terms, right? Which is really which I think is probably why when I saw your messaging and your content, it really resonated with me. But Patrick, as I've been looking at your content, you've pivoted your content to be more personal.
Correct.
Why do you think that resonates so well with a tech audience? And I'm just going to add to that, Johnny, we've noticed that even with Jeremy Cunningham, our guest in the show here, who joins us in the show. He's a regular listener of the lab here. Jeremy's also a tech fellow, and he's become much more personal as well. And there's been a trend shifting where, LinkedIn and some platforms are kind of falling back to old school Facebook. But Patrick, why do you think that your personal content is resonating so well with the tech audience?
It shows you're a real person. it shows authenticity of who you are as a person beyond just being a technical nerd and being able to create content, on sip packets and wire shark traces and shit that there's a million YouTube videos on that, right? But being able to showcase who you are as a person allows people to connect with you through virtual for a screen, right? So now you can talk at Tech Talk and have a video on some bullshit technology stuff that you probably is really nerdy and hit one audience. But then if you talk about motorcycles or you have your wife on the camera and you interview her, that shows you're a real person. And I think that's what people connect with.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think that's so staying there. What's been the most unexpectedly human moment that you've had with your content?
There's a big AI boom. If you haven't heard the word AI, you've been under a rock the last 2 years, right?
Is that part of the alphabet? Jon and Keith aren't familiar with that. What is that again?
Right, exactly. Every company in the world has AI, and they're trying to differentiate and showcase how amazing AI is. And I had the moment where I'm like, I bet no one knows what this fucking is, right? So I actually interviewed my 11-year-old son and my wife on one of my shows and just asked them basic questions like, what's AI? What's generative AI? What's agentic AI? All these terms that people are like Microsoft and Google and Meta are throwing around. No one knows what the hell it is. That was my point, is that you're selling to an audience that has no idea what this stuff is.
I'm actually glad we're talking about it right now because some news broke last night and this morning, and I wanted to share it with my brother Johnny here this morning. Johnny, remember a few weeks ago I talked to you about infinite memory coming into ChatGPT? Well, it's launched now. So anybody who's not taking advantage of this, and let me present it to you in a different way.
Define that again, just so I'm up to speed.
I'm actually going to because this is important for a lot of people who are paying attention or not paying attention. If I said to you a year ago, John, before I met you, I could give you a resource that knows all the knowledge in the world that will make you a superhuman, you'd say, fuck, sign me up. Like, I want to know that person or I want to know that entity. I'm like, okay, well, it's here now. And what fascinates me is that so many people use the free ChatGPT version. So if I give you a choice, you want the dumb guy or the smart guy? Which guy are you choosing? Probably the smart guy. The dumb guy's free. The smart guy's $200 a month. Let's pay the $200 for the smart guy. What's also happened, they turned on infinite memory yesterday. So all the conversations I've had in all my ChatGPT for the last year and a half is now training the future. So for the first conversation from 2 years ago, it's still there. So it's referring.
How do I know if I have this one? Because I went from the free one to the paid one.
Yeah. So right? you want to get ChatGPT Pro, Johnny, the best $200 of your life to spend. I cannot encourage you enough for a guy like yourself, myself, pay the $200 a month. It's ChatGPT Pro.
So it's not the same one? I have to get a different app?
No, it's the same one. You're gonna up the up the tier. Yeah, you're gonna go to Pro. Okay, so
I started off with that little green icon, then it went to white. Yeah, when I upgraded. So that's the white ones where I need to go to upgrade.
Yeah, go to settings, and you want to go to Pro. Now, I'm only suggesting go to Pro because again, I always ask this folks. I asked this question to somebody yesterday, going, "Why would you choose the dumb guy over the smart guy?" Well, the dumb guy's free. Oh, okay. Well, I'm paying for the smart guy. Oh, there's no logic in it.
It's jumping over a fucking dollar for a dime, man.
It is. It's exactly it. But my point is that the more you use it today, the smarter it is a year from now. The more you use it today, the smarter it is 3 years from now. So I cannot encourage you enough to use it. Patrick Kelly, your thoughts on this as well, brother?
I see, as a technical nerd, I see the power of AI. I truly do. But what I also, I'm going to be a devil's advocate a little bit. Yeah. I think it makes us lazy. I think it makes us lazier because then we're just relying on something to solve problems that we can't solve. So then it takes away our critical power and our problem solving skills by relying on technology to do it.
Well, that's a really good point because the user has to decide in what way is it going to be helpful.
Correct.
Because obviously I don't really use it to solve problems. I use it to make things that I'm doing more efficient to save me time.
So here's where this is great actually, because I'm going to debate both of you and I'm going to shine a light on Jon Andersen that he doesn't even realize it. I think the future of humanity leans much into philosophy. Because when you have knowledge so listen, knowledge is becoming a commodity. It's in our pocket. There's more knowledge in our pocket than ever before. But Jon's ability to philosophize his thoughts and his words and then have a conversation with a smarter entity than himself, there's power in that. The future of tomorrow, like coding and communicating with AI tomorrow, is your ability to speak as a human to something smarter than you. The power of tomorrow is in the ability to communicate your words. Jon, you're an incredible communicator. You might not think you're, but you are. Your ability to communicate with AI is probably going to surprise you because you come from a philosophical background. You think of things a little differently. You think of things that perhaps a normal person is not connecting the dots between 1, 2, and 3. That to me, I think is a skill set for the future that many people aren't thinking about. Because let's say Patrick's the AI. Patrick already has all the knowledge. It's up to Keith and Jon to get it out of Patrick. If we can't ask the right questions or articulate the right thought process to put it into our fingers or our voice to ask him, we're never going to get it out. So if I ask Patrick a question and then Jon, you use your philosophy roots and ask him the same question, but based upon what you've learned, you're probably going to get a better response from Patrick than me. You guys follow me?
I think what it comes down to is my way of being successful in all areas of my life is to simplify.
Yes.
And when I simplify with talking this thing, it's like these little bits of direction. So I don't say one thing and shoot it off the wrong way. I'm just constantly just dialing it in. You know, like when I'm asking it to do something and it doesn't do it, I'll say, hey, why did you not include the emojis on that text or what I was asking it, and it will basically tell me what I said wrong.
Yes.
You know, hey, I need you to blah, 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 blah. So now it's like I just have all of these prompts where I can just go and say, hey, do this. And I have this basically outlined with Chat GPT, and it knows exactly what to do. So I can just say, hey, do this, and then talk to it. And then we have a conversation about it. And it's I guess what it comes down to is what you're saying. I think it just comes down to being really fucking simple with it. And I direct it quite easily.
And just keep using it, Johnny. And Patrick, just keep using it. Right. So, hey, Patrick, keeping it going with yourself, my friend. How has, you talked at the beginning here about being a jack of all trades, and we weaved AI into it, and you've accomplished plenty in your career. How has being a jack of all trades shaped your career success?
That's a good point. Excuse me. Is that you can obviously dive down a niche, right, and be an expert in one thing to a 400 level. We say it in the nerd way. If you're 400 level, you're an expert. But the problem being is that you put guardrails on yourself, right? You've literally put guardrails on your knowledge. But if you could become a jack of all trades at, say, a 200 or a 300 level on a whole bunch of stuff, then you can talk to other people about other things. And I'm a tech nerd, but I can really talk about motorcycles. I could talk about the gym. I could talk about food. Like I could talk about politics, just because I've well-rounded myself to a level that I am not just 400 level deep in one thing. I'd like to be 300 level deep in a bunch of things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And brother, I so subscribe to this because there are a few things that I feel like I've fucking got this nailed.
Yeah.
400. But then there's so many other elements of my life that I might be 100, but that means I'll go and get that person to get me the 400 knowledge. And that's been one of my strengths for sure. Like all my friends and, my wife, they're like, you understand how to delegate. When you don't know how to do something, you find the person that will help you figure it out. And I think there's so much fucking power in what you just said, brother. If people would recognize it and really think it through and understand how it can move them ahead so much faster.
Yeah.
Matter of swallowing your pride and knowing when you don't know something.
Yes.
I don't have to have the answer for everything, but I damn well better know how to find the answer to
everything. Yes.
Brother, I've done this for fucking ever. I mean, a decade plus. I hire a new fucking coach every year. And, like a couple of years ago, I hired a speaking coach. I was already did keynotes, but I wanted to fucking learn how to be a fucking really, really understand that. So it's like coaches, they represent to me is someone that has that 400 level knowledge. When I'm at a 1 or a 2, I might be operating at 1 or 2 and doing fine, but I want that 400 level knowledge, and I want it fucking fast.
My wife thinks I'm obsessive, right? Because I will dive into something, something new, and I will dive in and become an expert in it because that's just who I am as a person. And then I'll be a 400 level, and then I'll go to something else, right? So I'm never satisfied with what I know.
I love it. My wife actually has a term for when you said dive in. She tells me I'm going underwater. Meaning I'm fucking. It's like I've disappeared. Well, I'm under the. She knows I'm in the pool, but I'm not coming up for a while.
Patrick, it's
I'll lie. I come up for a good humping. That's for sure.
some life expectancy work. We know the show, and we know the two hosts are in a rhythm when we don't even know what we're talking about yet. We're speaking the same language. Johnny talked about doing keynotes, and I know that's it's funny, Johnny, because this was my next question I had in my head to get to Patrick with. But Patrick, despite a career in virtual meetings, you've now been testing yourself. Get this, Johnny, as a real life keynote speaker. So you went from a big jump from Zoom to stage. Yep. How has that worked out for you, my brother?
I've worked at Zoom for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And I worked for Microsoft for 13 years. And most of the time it's been in the technology world, just, speaking nerd talk to customers and people. And of course, I can be on a webinar with 1,000 people, and it's the same webinar with 3 people, right? There's no difference there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you get invited to do a keynote at Vegas with 2,000 people in the audience. Shit gets real quick, right? It's not just looking at a screen anymore. It's like the lights are blaring. There's a bunch of people in the background. And before, like I usually, like a big customer, I would get a little bit nervous. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit nervous or anxious before you prepare for like a big presentation. But when you walk out on stage,
I love that feeling. That feeling is why I do it.
Yeah. It's exhilarating, and I've always been a decent public speaker. It's kind of like John did. I got better and better and better, and went through a bunch of classes and become a better public speaker virtually. But once you walk on stage and that fire gets you and that Red Bull kicking in, it's a whole different level, and that is addicting as hell.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I will always opt to do it in person. It's a performance thing. It's fun. And it's like, it's not to say that doing a Zoom is a bad gig. It's just, I do it because it's something that exhilarates me, as you said, and doing it in person is where it's at.
And if I can offer this, and Patrick, maybe you've observed this from the outside, but I believe that's why Keith and Johnny are having some success with this show. Before the show starts, Johnny, I get the butterflies. I get all excited. Whether one person shows up, 100 people show up, 1,000 people show up. This is a performance for you and I. For 90 minutes, 120 minutes every single day, I perform. There's some days I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
So this, to me, Patrick, is my performance every single day in front of the camera, in front of the microphone. And I love the feeling I have at 7:53 Eastern time as I'm approaching 8 o'clock and 7:58. And they're okay, we're going live and it's fun. It's just, there's something fun about the whole thing, right, Patrick?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, to most people, public speaking is not something they look forward to. Right?
No.
They typically dread the hell out of it. They're like super nervous. That's because you're not prepared. That's why. Right?
Yes.
That's because you probably haven't put the 10,000 hours of inside to make yourself that 400 level speaker. And now when you walk out on stage, you're like, look, I got this, man. And you own it. You own it.
Yeah, dude, I so agree. It's all your confidence can be built with practice. You know what I mean? If you've prepared and you got it, you just like cut me loose, get me up there. I've fucking done this shit enough. And in the early days of my performance, even like in fucking wrestling matches, man, I would go over that shit so fucking much to the point where my brain would just kind of freeze. Yeah. And then I would like, okay, just fucking relax, because as soon as your brain unlocks, that shit is going to be fucking crystal clear.
Yes. All right, you got Keith, John, and our guest, Patrick Kelly. We got Jory Jansen joining us here in a couple of moments here, guys. Patrick, I got some rapid fire questions for you before we throw one last thing to you, before we rock and roll out of here, my brother. And we're going to do a lifestyle tip with Johnny. So, Patrick, get ready for some rapid fires. I'm trying some new things out with our guests here. So, you ready, brother?
Let's go.
All right. Zoom or live?
Oh, my God, live.
Most underrated piece of AV gear?
Oh, my God, your microphone.
Favorite donut flavor?
Oh, Krispy Kreme glazed, easy.
That hurts me just hearing it, baby. Just hearing it.
You got a couple sugar addicts here, Kelly. And we got our nutritionist coming up next. So this is
And that sound that came out wasn't even on purpose. It just did it by itself.
last tech gadget you fell in love with.
Oh, that's a good question. Probably, my Wi-Fi 6.E router that I just got.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And then you can read in between the lines with my last question for you, brother, because we talk often about life expectancy work. Listen to me clearly. Morning ride or midnight scroll?
Oh, definitely morning ride.
And you can take that forever which way you want to take it, my brother.
If it's past the afternoon, it's not working. I got to get it in early.
Oh, brother. One last thing for you, the closing question for Patrick Kelly. What's one non-techie thing about you that actually makes you better at your job, Patrick Kelly?
I swallowed my pride about 10 years ago, and I don't let my ego get in the way of being better.
Dude, that is brilliant, man. That's just like Johnny saying, I don't care if I'm right. I just want the results.
Yep.
I'm happy to be wrong if I'm getting what I want.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Patrick, how can our nation find you? How can they connect with you? How can everybody connect with Patrick? You got to meet Rick Clody. He's one of our awesome guests here in the lab here. He's one of our regular listeners. He's in the comments right now, and he's like, Krispy Kreme donut. It's the breakfast of champions. And early and often for Patrick, you got to connect with Clody, Patrick. He's a solid dude. I think you guys can get along just fine. Rick, Patrick, Rick. But Patrick, how can folks find you, connect with you, and we come back, hang with us again sometime?
I am known as the tattooed nerd for obvious reasons. So if you look for Tattoo Nerd on LinkedIn and or YouTube, you will see a bunch of useless videos that I've created about technology.
Nice.
But I just got to say at a glance, I'm not seeing the nerd part. I think you've outgrown that.
Yeah. Patrick, thanks for hanging out with me and John this morning. Did you have as much fun as you thought you were going to have coming into the lab today?
You know what? I did some research. I watched John and you banter back and forth about fucking everything in the world, by the way. You really talk about everything.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to get on here and talk about, nothing in particular.
That's awesome, man. So does that mean you'll come back and hang with us again sometime?
Every day, my friend.
Awesome.
Love it, brother.
We're on the calendar later this morning for a coffee. I want to catch up, get to know a little personal on the quiet side of things. But brother, I appreciate you, man. You have an awesome day today. You're welcome to stick around and watch in the green room or whatever it is. But we got Jory Jans and Johnny. John's going to do his lifestyle tip. And then Johnny, I got a topic for you at the top of the second hour, which is if I did strongman training for 30 days, what happens to me? Oh.
There's so many variables to that.
I know you were going to say that. Kelly, get out of
Jesus
here.
Christ.
All right, Jimmy, get me off stage. Let's get Johnny up here. We got a protein break coming up with Jory Jansen in a minute. Let's do it, brother.
All right. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because there's some of you guys that are probably not going to want to hear this, but I'm going to just lay it out there. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. You got to stop being bent out of shape for the results you're not getting, for the work you're not putting in. If you look around, you will find elements to whatever it is you're doing that you're avoiding. These things you're avoiding, you may not even know it. It could be like a subconscious thing. But when you truly turn every stone over, looking to make sure that all of the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and you find those things that you need to do, and you do them even when you don't want to, this is when you start getting the shit you want. This is when you become motivated to do more because you start having the success that you've always dreamed of. So just remember, this is a discipline-based message. You've got to do the shit you need to do even when you don't want to. Rock and roll.
Andersen with lifestyle tip. Johnny, I just got a note from Jimmy. He's like, I think Johnny's squirming in his chair. We probably need to let him go to have a release. So
actually I'm doing pretty fucking well today, but I'm never ever, because I was explaining when I was a kid, that you might actually have to pee, but the signal is just 10 minutes away. So every time you have the opportunity to pee, go pee. That's what I was told when I was getting in the car as a kid. You have to pee? No. Well, you might in 5 minutes. The signal's just not here yet. So I'm going to take you up on that.
We got Jory joining us here this morning on our favorite segment, Protein Break with Jory Jansen. What's shaking, girl?
Not too much. The house is really quiet this morning. So, yeah, that's okay.
How much are you enjoying that right now? Just quietly tell us.
Well, it's party of 3, so it's never like crazy. But my daughter has a friend over there, sleepover from last night, and so they were having a great time. And the joy that as parents, you get it, right? When you hear that joy of that hardcore belly laughter coming,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't ruin the party, right? So I didn't get up as early this morning, but that's okay. You know what? No one else was up.
Well, these are the situations where you want to create a little flexibility, and those are you can't recreate that moment.
No, it brings me
Good
so
for
much
you.
joy. Like that's like medicine. It's like, yes,
Yeah.
the sleep's going to be off, but you know what? It's worth it for the night. It's good.
That's awesome. So I've kept it somewhat light here this morning. I had a few things on the docket that I could move around here, and I kept it light here. I wanted to have some fun with today's segment, and truthfully, I threw some questions to my little agent here this morning that is not acting properly with me this morning, guys. So I'm like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing here, but I do have some things here, so I want to throw some topics on the table for you guys to kind of chew on. We'll have some fun with them. Johnny, night protein. Does it really matter?
I guess it just depends on the person. I mean, does the body need it? If you're talking about someone who's been stuffing his fucking face all day and hasn't done any training and there's no muscle repair, the odds are that fucker doesn't need it.
Jory, comments from you, from your research and your experience, Jory Jensen.
Yeah, I do find that it can be beneficial. Exactly what you said, John. And also, in addition to that, I find that especially women or even just humans in general are super busy. It's an opportunity to get that protein hit, which is going to help preserve any lean muscle mass that they have. So it's better than going straight up to what you would typically go for if you think you're craving something. So you might go look through the cupboards and go, what's there? And then just eat for the heck of it. So planning for a protein hit at that time before bed can be beneficial in terms of, just kind of curbing that appetite, but also helping in terms of any sort of building and repairing that happens during your sleep.
Yeah.
It can be beneficial for sure.
Well,
if you're going to eat at night, it needs to be protein.
Yeah.
But I think that's the key message, right? And what I'm hearing from both of you is that instead of standing in front of the fridge or the pantry like a dumb son of a bitch and wondering what you're going to eat, you're probably not hungry if you're wondering what you're going to eat. Right? So if you're hungry, go to the eggs, go to the meat, go to the protein source. That's really what we're saying, right? And that's the mental battle, and that's why I've been choosing to go to bed early, because when I make that choice to go stand in front of the pantry or the fridge, I know I'm lost. I'm like, oh, this is not good, not good.
Yeah, if you're standing there and just kind of thinking,
yes,
there's probably something else you need to be doing.
Isn't that a good
way? And the idea behind a pantry, generally speaking, a pantry, like in this house when we had it remodeled, the fucking pantry was like I could have used it for a goddamn office. It was huge.
Yes.
Right. And Terry looks at it and goes, "What are we going to do with this?" And I was like, "We're going to rip it out. Is what we're going to do with it." What our pantry is like one fucking cupboard door about like that, because we don't have food that doesn't perish. I mean, what's in there is almonds and, shit like that. The things so it's just a thought process for people. If your fucking pantry is big enough that you can stock that full of a bunch of food that won't fucking perish, you're kind of thinking the wrong direction. If your food stays in the refrigerator, the odds are you shopped on the outside of the fucking store.
Well, the other thing too, and it happens all the time in my household, is my daughter will go and she's like, "Oh man, I feel like I'm hungry," and that's where she's headed, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, "So are you hungry or do you want a treat?" And she knows what I mean.
Yeah.
And then she smiles real big and goes, "Treat." I'm like, "Yes." And sometimes it's yes, go ahead, and sometimes it's like I always say yes, but not right now. Right now we're gonna wait for whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's if you have to think about, I feel like something, Feelings are real, no doubt, but they're not always true. So just
Yes.
have a feeling.
Isn't that the truth?
You know what's fascinating about what you guys are both saying here is that when I built my house, you know, it's more expensive to not build a pantry, to put cabinets in your house. To build a pantry, it's just a big room. You put
Fill it full of a whole bunch of shit you're not supposed to fucking eat.
largely inexpensive to build a pantry, and then it's largely inexpensive to fill it up with crappy food. What I find fascinating about this conversation is how many of us as human beings, if we use logic, Jory and John, when we are buying or building a house, we would probably avoid the pantry concept as much as possible, because we know that the pantry largely comes with a bunch of packaged ingredients that, for the most part, probably aren't going to be good for us. I know I'm spray painting a can of, you know, on a big broad wall here, but there's some truth to that, actually. Really?
Well, brother, when we knocked up in this house, our California house, we knocked the pantry out. Obviously, we always have multiple refrigerators. So
Yes.
what we did was we have the refrigerator that's in the kitchen, easy to access, but then just through a quick door out in the garage, we have like the full blown, commercial double door open up refrigerator. That's where we keep, because we wouldn't all fit into the regular refrigerator.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to kind of in your mind, think about what type of food are you stocking up on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I used to get embarrassed because I'd open up the cupboards and guests were over and my cupboards look kind of bare, right?
Yes.
Yes. A lot of people just shove stuff. Like my mom used to keep the cupboard, and her grandkids would go over and think that they were going to the store. They're going shopping, right? Because my mom's cupboards would be jammed with chocolate covered granola bars, which are like cookies, and just all that kind of stuff. Whereas I open up my cupboards and they're not very full.
I know.
but we have food.
Yes. Well, and I grew up working in a grocery store, you guys, where my ADHD and OCD was constantly rewarded by facing off the shelves. So I'd go down the aisles and face everything off, right? So everything would look perfect. And I would go home and I'd love to look at my parents' pantry and face everything off because it would all look great. It'd make me feel good. It would make me feel happy because all the boxes would be square, but it's just all a bunch of crappy food, right? But anyways, next one for the fun topics for Friday. And this one I found fascinating because I think people get misled with this one. And Jory, you cannot give me the answer about egg sous vide from Starbucks. So that one's off the table. All right. Fast food protein survival guide. Can I go to Chick-fil-A or can I go to a burger joint and eat a chicken burger and feel good about myself? Or is it just crap wrapped in bad or goodness wrapped in a bunch of badness? Jory Jansen, educate me on going through the fast food joint and help me eat protein without eating egg sous vide from Starbucks. Jory Jansen.
Okay. So if you're looking for a healthy option versus just allowing yourself liberty to treat yourself.
Good choice of words, kid.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's the registered dietitian.
Yes, I can hear you saying that. Yeah. I want to go to I want to go to Popeyes and have a chicken burger.
It's mass production, John, right? I mean, it's filled with stuff. And then what are you adding to it? You're usually not just going, just give me chicken breast.
Yeah.
You're not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're thinking the sodium, the breading, is it being deep fried, and just the quality. Like if you're gonna buy something, well, eating out is expensive, but relatively cheap compared to going to certain other restaurants. If you're going to go to, it's something, but I wouldn't say it's part of your high performance living plan.
But could I go to like a bar burrito or like a Mexican, like a Chipotle restaurant and have like some chicken and some salad and a wrap? And is that, and John, throwing it to you, is that?
Well, dude, I'll just go. That's perfect. Like people will do this, and for the most part, for them, it's a fucking great option because, their other choices are not that great.
Right.
It's a sliding scale. How much of this shit are you used to dealing with? If I go to Chipotle, right, and I get, say, a bowl of beef and chicken and guacamole and some salsa, that's what I would get. And I've done it plenty of times when I'm in a pickle. But the consequence for that for me is I'm going to have fucking wretched fucking heartburn. I'm going to have a fucking stomach ache, largely because of the oils and shit they're cooking it in. Now, again, of course, when it's mass-produced food, the quality of the actual, the beef and the chicken is a little lower. But you're better off doing that than fucking getting a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's comes down to choice, eh, Jor?
It does. It comes down to choice. What you believe to be a choice is really important, I think. A lot of people feel like they don't have the time to create something themselves and have it on hand. And so it's just a little bit of your belief system. And sometimes belief system,
Yeah.
abbreviated BS, is sometimes just that, right? It's just, you got to think a little bit differently in terms of your approach. So if you're looking for quality and staying on track with your long-term goal, you have to have the short-term systems in place to get there.
Mhm.
And eating out as part of your every day, it could be even I know some clients have, I had one where every meal was eaten out. Every meal.
God. Oh my God.
Every meal. And I remember him saying, Jory, if we change everything right now, my family's going to like say, no way. Because
Every meal?
and they were so used to instant, right? So to actually think, to create a simple menu that they could prepare as a family was like not even on the horizon.
Every meal.
Yeah.
They went out to eat or ordered in?
Both.
Whoa.
Both. Kids, the parents, like that was their lifestyle. And he was very clear that if we change everything right now, we're going to lose the family.
Yeah, everything's gonna fucking fall apart. It's too much too quick.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So we started with him, and it's like, okay, you're eating out, but you have, I went to his workplace. They had a beautiful cafeteria to make some decent options. And so I said, let's start there. And we were building over time, but it takes time. And again, who's your support system? And if you're flying solo, it's challenging. It's not impossible, but it's pretty challenging.
That's actually an interesting topic that I didn't even thought about. A great YouTube discussion. It's just like a YouTube. I can see the thumbnail of the topic. This family ate out their entire life. How it impacted them. I could just think of the impacts. Right?
They weren't healthy.
Was there obesity in the children? Was there I'm just like all of that fascinates me because I can't wrap my head around eating out nonstop. And Johnny, we're Canadians, so could you imagine American? I'm cracking some humor here, but our American friends doing that and how everything is supersized. Like, George, how can I ask? Is that an ongoing thing? Has that ended? How has this family proceeded with that?
Yeah, so I haven't followed up in a really long time. This is years ago. So the last, it seemed like it was too challenging for most of the family to jump on board. Yeah.
Really?
So he had to do what he was able to do in his controlled space, which was his work time. Right. And then,
when you get people used to eating out, it's a fucking different set of taste buds.
It is. Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's like you're gonna try to, especially kids.
Yes.
I don't want to eat that. And I would go on a limb saying that those kids were probably allowed to pick what they wanted to eat. And it's like when you allow a child to choose what they want to eat, they're going to make the choices that suit their taste buds the best, not their fucking health, not their future, not their brains, not their sleep. You just can't allow that shit to happen. And unfortunately, happens all the time. I mean, I've got inside of my family circle, I had, not mentioning fucking names, but people, some of the wives would cook 3-4 different fucking meals.
Yeah.
Because each person had their own. I was like, what's on the table is what you'll eat, because when you're hungry, you'll fucking eat it. And I think that's the way it should be. When we're given too many choices with food, it develops a lot of fucking bad habits. Well, excuse me. We're given too many choices with food when we're young. It creates habits that sometimes are almost impossible for people to let go of.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I need to be somewhat cryptic with my choice of words, but I had some disagreements about that with some earlier variations of raising children in life, because I couldn't understand why there was different meals being made for different people all the time. Like, why aren't we all just eating the same food? But Jory, it makes me sad to hear you say that, because I can imagine how sad that family was and how difficult, because that man, deep down, I'll let you go quick in a second, Jory, deep down that man wants to get better, right? He wants to help his family, but man, just constantly, because if you're not on board, we talk about it all the time, couples get healthy together or get fat and unhealthy together. And I can't imagine a family. That makes me sad, Jory, to hear that from you.
Yeah, no, it is very sad. And what I thought was great though for him was in his capacity, he was able to see where he could make it
right.
work,
His human, his ability. Yes.
And the flip side of the story, and Jory, I would guarantee that you can jump on this bandwagon too. There's also those circumstances where it starts off the same, and basically the husband dives into it. He starts to improve in a way where his family can see it, and it's like a trickle down effect.
Yeah.
And because nobody's forced to fucking
Right.
do anything, they
Right.
choose. And now you've got this family who didn't know how bad they felt
Yeah.
because they've never felt good. And there's a lot of those stories too. So, you know, it's a bummer when you can't help the whole crew, but you know, people, a lot of times they have to make the choice to be helped.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, we're hanging out with Jory and Jon on a fun Friday. Just got some topics on the table here today. We're going to wrap it up and get Jory out of here so she can spend some time in her quiet house today, getting her work done. And hey, Jory, so it's been a week with your new boss. How's it going? Tell Keith and Johnny the secrets. How's it going?
Yeah. He and I are so very different. However,
yeah.
There was a moment where he didn't have to be the boss with the staff,
Yeah.
and it was more of just a side chat, and you get to see more of the human side when you do it, right? Versus set the tone and things like that. So I think he has some really cool insights in terms of how to take this organization in a different direction.
Yeah.
But in a way that I think is going to be really cool. So will there be some learning opportunities, chances for me to grow in terms of the differences in how we approach life? I think absolutely. Do I think, though, that's worth it for the end game in terms of how the organization will be successful? Yes.
Awesome. Good choice of words, girl. Man,
you know, I a wonderful story, Jory, but I sit there and I think to myself, because when someone's telling a story, I try to get into their shoes to really kind of feel the story. And right at the fucking jump, I got that because I've never had a fucking boss.
Oh, yeah. You haven't? No.
Never had a fucking boss. Never collected a paycheck. Never had a job per se. I've always done it. I've always been my own boss, so to speak. Yeah. So it's, but it sounds like a wonderful relationship with your new boss, which is great to hear.
Yeah. Well, I have both, right? I double dip. So I've got my private practice that works around depending on how busy the sports center is. And then with the sports center always having to be the priority because that's the big one. But I like the sports center in that I've got a team. I'm not flying solo, right? Yes. I really I've got a physiologist, strength and conditioning coach, sports psychologist. There's another sports dietitian that works part-time. There's a marketing and events coordinator, communications. So there's a team of us, and we sometimes get into our sport med physician. We'll bring them in. So it's nice to have that team. Kind of have the huddle, the rounds. I don't like the we got to check the boxes type of thing. Yeah. I like the private practice because I just get to be 100% fully. What do I want to do? How do I want to jam it out? So I like what working with others does, and I also like the solo part too.
Awesome. Well, and we love having you hanging out with us, Jory Jansen.
Absolutely.
It's I know I think I can speak for Johnny. I love my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays when the three of us get after it, and we learn shit, we banter. And Jor, before I let you go, I know you're on this train with me, but next week I think we need to start getting on the big bandwagon because we know the Stanley Cup is in our future, kid. After last night's performance against Dallas, Johnny, man, over the next couple months, you better get ready for it, brother. The Stanley Cup parade is beginning. We are going to work our way towards winning the cup. Jory, you're gonna get on the bandwagon with me?
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday I was already wearing my Jets little top there, with the logo, and every Zoom meeting my Jets logo was showing.
Ron's going to become an adopted Winnipeg Jets fan by the time we win the Stanley Cup. We're gonna ship it over to him. He can lift it over his head, and he's going to become a massive hockey fan. Johnny?
I went to one fucking hockey game.
I know you did.
Where I went to, I'll kind of pull my pants down here. It was kind of fucking up. So I took this chick, and I'm thinking, I'm this fucking guy. I'm supposed to know what the fuck's going on here, right? And it was fucking fun. They're running around, they're fucking fighting, slapping the fucking stick, and blah blah blah. And so I don't fucking know a thing about hockey. I didn't pretend. I didn't say that I did, but I'm kind of acting like I do, right? Because I'm fucking 21. Yeah. And so the first period ends, right? I think it's fucking halftime, right? So the fucking second period ends. We get up and we fucking leave. I'm like, why the fuck is everybody leaving? She goes, I don't think it's over. And I was like, fuck, I guess the moment of me being cool is over.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. Jory, we have a lot of work to do with our brother, Jon Andersen here.
I was like, fuck, I get to watch these dudes fight it out for another fucking halftime is what I'm thinking. Let's go. Let's go sit back down.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Jory, what do you got going on today before we say goodbye?
I'm actually super cool. I'm working with a female boxer, and I get to
Oh,
put her
very
nutrition plan
nice.
together. So I've got like part 1 done.
Yeah.
But because we have to put some mass on her, I got to work on part 2, which a lot of my not sport dietitian friends think is unethical, but whatever, we do it. I'll have to plan a cutting strategy for her.
Oh, yeah.
Because she needs to
Hold on.
build.
What is unethical about helping her be a better version of what she wants to be?
Well, when you're a nutrition, like when you're taking dietetics, so not just like being a nutritionist, but you're following the guidelines of a college, right? So anything like I'm probably going to have to dehydrate her, right?
Totally. I got you. Because you're all of a sudden now you're going outside the lines of health.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally got you. Yeah.
Like if she doesn't make weight, because we want her to be more powerful, so we have to put on some mass. And we need her to make weight, otherwise she doesn't compete. And that's a lot on me.
Yeah.
And Jory, I have like in the trench ways to drop water so fucking fast with no fucking saunas, no running, none of that shit. It's just simple water. So if you need a secondary, I know you've got plenty of methods yourself, but if you want some other methodologies, I'm happy to give it to you, because I've been in. But wrestling was the only sport we didn't have to fucking make weight. I didn't have to make weight as a pro strongman. I was open, but ultimately I was around people that constantly did it. So very, very, and in bodybuilding, you're basically dropping the water to look good. But I mean, fuck, we would drop sometimes 10, 15 pounds of water overnight and not have to do shit, and no diuretics for that matter either.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I'm open to learning. Absolutely. It's about keeping her healthy, well, and performing on demand.
Yes.
And weight management. And as much as I don't like weight cutting at this point in her career, we're not changing weight classes. That's not an option.
Yeah.
So that's how it has to be. So open to learning.
You know what's fun, Jory, is that, and I mean this with, it's just nothing but compliment. You take the last 4 minutes of your conversation for granted. It fascinates me, because I'm intrigued by it. So I think it's pretty cool. And it's just neat to hear you. This is like a problem. You have to solve it. You got to work your way through it. And it's neat to me. And there's a human being involved, and you're trying to help somebody achieve something. And you're like, yeah, that's just my job. No, but to me, it's pretty cool to hear that. So thanks for sharing that with us.
No problem.
Well,
it's privilege.
Jory,
too.
sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, for those that frown upon what you're doing, the angle is, hey, I'm going to help her do it in a way that's going to keep her healthy, because what they're doing out there without the proper knowledge is fucking harmful.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My boss asked the other day in our staff meeting setting, he asked us, what does success look like in the area that we work in?
Oh.
And to me, success isn't the podium. Success is what is their story going to be when they're done?
Oh.
Yep.
That to me is what success is going to be. And sometimes when I've worked with some, I'm like, ooh, that story later is not going to be a happy one. They probably still won't have regrets because they did what they felt was true to them. But there's going to be a significant amount of sadness there in terms of what they have to now live with for the consequences of how they felt like they had to do things, right? So to me, success is, yes, ego-wise, can I get them to the podium? Can I get that gold medal with them? But more is what's their story going to be upon reflection of what their journey was. That to me is what the success is. Yeah.
It says a lot about you as a human. It says a lot about your integrity and where you come from, and that's a wonderful way to end this segment. So thanks for sharing that with us.
For sure. It's kind of like Psalm. Sorry, we can pump it up.
No, I love it. Listen, and we got Adam dropping here this morning. Hey, Adam, haven't seen you in a while here, buddy. It's like a lot of online about people fasting for 3 days. I think that would be dangerous, but it seems like a fad at the moment. Yeah, and listen, there's a way to fast. There's a way to go about things, and that's why we got the experts here, Jory and Johnny, helping us through this. So, Jory, we've had you overtime today.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day as always. I always appreciate you, and we'll catch up with you on Monday. Okay.
Sounds good. Nice to see you guys.
Awesome. You too.
Have a great day, Jory.
Johnny, you got to get up for a quick break.
Yeah, you got to get me one now. I'm
now. Then we're gonna
I'm ready.
All right, you go when you come back. I want to talk to you about Strongman. Okay, brother.
Let's go, baby.
Good. All right, Johnny's gonna get out of here, guys. We're gonna come back. Jimmy, we're gonna reset with the Strongman discussion. I want to get that one up here with Johnny here today because I think it's a fascinating one for me, which is I trained like a strongman for 30 days. Here's what happens. Now, maybe not me, but what would happen if I trained for strongman for 30 days? So we're going to get to that question here in a second with Jon Andersen. Hey, you're here with Keith Bilous, Jon Andersen. We had Patrick Kelly here this morning. Jory Jansen joining us. What's going on, Holroyd? Good to see you there in the comments. I got a couple Adams stacked on top of each other here. No, guys, just keep yourself out of the gutter here. I got Adam and Adam here in my comments. Good to see you guys. Hey, we're reconnecting here. Second hour, Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. Just a fun week of conversations here today. We kicked off the show, guys. If you haven't seen the top of the show here, we talked eVTOLs, electronic vehicles that take off and land. That's the eVTOL acronym. So there you go. We talked about that one here. Personal helicopters, you guys, that we can buy and fly around. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. We also showed some Chinese barges that are going to help people help the Chinese military maybe take over Taiwan and other places. You're thinking, why the hell are we talking about this in the show? Because it's pretty cool. That's just true story. No, they developed this ship that can turn like into a big bridge, and it's pretty neat. So we showed that this morning as well. We also talked with Patrick Kelly about going from Zoom to on-stage motorcycles, donuts. Jimmy, I'm looking back here. What else did we get to this morning? We got to, we didn't have time to get to the solo pleasure one. We'll get to that one probably next week. And if I do have some time, I want to get into how finding my why transformed my leadership. But while we're waiting for John to get back here, I'm going to kick this off here. Guys, ears up here. And Johnny, ears up for you too as well. Have you ever wondered what would happen if you trained like a strongman for 30 days? So I got a strongman expert with me here. So I got some stuff I'm going to throw on the table. We're going to go back and forth with Johnny on this one. So today I want to break down exactly what happens to your body and mind when you embrace the intense, unconventional world of strongman training. Now, this style of training doesn't just build muscle. It transforms your mental resilience, drastically improves your functional strength, and probably more than likely enhances your overall quality of life. Now, here's the thing, guys. Ears up. Strongman training involves lifting and carrying heavy, awkward objects, stones, logs, tires. And studies have shown, and this is what I loved with this, that I got some studies on the table, then I got a real life guy here who's done it. Studies show that within just 30 days, participants will notice significant muscle growth, substantial strength gains, and noticeable improvements in cardiovascular fitness and grip strength. And renowned strongman Eddie Hall famously dropped nearly 20 pounds in a month, highlighting a strongman's training efficiency for fat loss alongside muscle gain. But the physical changes are just the beginning. Some research indicates, John, that engaging in strongman routines also enhances mental toughness, boosts self-confidence, and helps break through psychological barriers. I'm going to pause. John, what are you thinking so far of what I've said?
Well, I think if you were to boil it down, of course, I'm going to peel it down nice and simple.
Yes.
You're in this style of exercise, let's call it, right? You're going to be pushed outside your comfort zone in just about everything you do. And let's call it XYZ training.
Yeah.
If it's you're training XYZ and you're getting pushed out of your comfort zone, you're going to have some pretty fucking big forward steps as well. Now, strongman, one of the things that's really beneficial is it's considered to be functional strength, meaning in the gym, it's all of these movements that are kind of like straight ahead, so to speak. It's in strongman is like those straight ahead movements are there, but then there's all of these like, I don't know what you call it. They're just movements that are just you're like, perfect example, when you're picking up a stone, a 400-pound stone, you're not doing this in 30 days, by the way, everyone.
No,
but
no.
You get that fucker so big, you get down there and you wrap your arms around it, your back is rounded like a fucking humping dog.
Yeah.
Now that's not a way that you're going to be taught to lift in the gym.
Right.
Because it's dangerous. But when obviously you enter into the world of strongman training, you got to ease into it, because you're basically going to be helping your body get strong in positions it's basically been trained to stay away from in many cases.
Yeah, that's why this whole sport fascinates me, because the functional aspect of it, right? Because you got to figure out as a human how to pick up the 400-pound stone and use your whole body to do that. So again, as I continue here, if you're ready to try strongman training, I have 2 steps that I've thrown on the table here from the research, from the academic side of things, to complement John's real life experience. But Johnny, some ideas that I've put forth here, and I want you to debate or support or say they're fucking wrong. But beginner friendly exercises. Maybe somebody wants to start incorporating basic moves such as farmer carries, right? For grip and core, right?
Good one, because you're going to get some fucking good hits. Yeah. You're going to get grip strength. It's going to be carrying shit like that. It kind of makes the whole body strong.
Yes. Yeah. Sled pulls for leg and cardiovascular conditioning. And then the third one here was tire flips. John, I love doing tire flips. When I was training with AJ, I love tire flips. How it, as difficult as it was, how much enjoyment I got out of getting my entire body behind the tire. Cause I did a bunch of powerlifting, strongman training with AJ as well. Not like you, but I really enjoyed tire flips. Is that something you would be a fan of as well, and something to support?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the key with the tire flip is having some knowledge of what the right tire is.
Yes.
Is it too big? Is it too little? You're better off start too little. A lot of times people, they see the shit on the internet, on TV.
Yes.
I want to try this, but you understand there's a massive amount of technique to lifting up the heavy shit.
Yes.
So what I'd recommend for the everyday person is use fairly light stuff. And just kind of, even the light stuff, just going through the motions is going to make a big fucking difference. But don't try to set any records. If you go to try to flip a tire and you can't flip it, and you give it 2-3 tries, you can't flip it, it's the wrong tire. It's too heavy.
Simple as that.
At this level, you should be able to bend down, pick up the tire, and at least get it to your waist. You get it to your waist, you might not know what to do. That's fine. But if you go to lift this thing up and it's not coming off the ground, walk away.
Yeah.
Until you get more knowledgeable, you get someone to teach you how. So I think when it comes down to it, there's like sandbag off the ground and carry is another great one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's so many really basic versions of this that you can use that'll keep you out of harm's way, that will give you a big bang for the buck.
What I like about the sandbag idea, John, is you can go down to Home Depot and buy some sandbags right now, and you can use them for farmer carry. You can use them for flipping. You can use sandbags for a lot of things. You just go down the street and buy them. You know what I mean? Like,
when it comes down to it, if somebody really wants to do it, you can go to Home Depot. You could literally just get yourself like you said, find yourself a sandbag. You could get yourself a sack of ready mix if you want. Wrap a bunch of fucking duct tape around it. You can get some 5-gallon buckets and fill that fucker full of rocks, and now you got your farmer's carry. There's so many ways to do it if you want to actually get started doing it. You don't have to, I don't have the equipment. Of course, nobody has the equipment when they first want to start, or you'd be lucky and you're at one of these gyms who has that corner in the back that's got a bunch of this shit.
Yes. Yeah. And then finally, guys, I gave you some suggestions on how to get started. I'm gonna, so obviously we know, the exercise is one thing, but the other thing is the fuel, the energy you need to get going. So perhaps adjusting your diet to fuel these intense workouts would be part of your priorities. Aiming for nutrient dense, single ingredient foods. Simple as that, Johnny. And then I'm going to try to speak on your behalf. You as the man are going to figure out what your macro breakdown is, what you're going to need for your fats, your protein, and your carbs, whatever works best for you, or work with somebody like John or Marty or somebody. But the nutrition is going to be key for supporting muscle recovery and sustained energy levels so you can start working your way to picking up those 400-pound stones. If you're not eating
Well,
right,
and this whole drill should be something, you've made a habit of going to the gym.
yeah,
You're eating right. You're like, fuck, I need a little spice in this.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
You've already, all the moving pieces are here. You start doing some strongman training or for that matter, any training that gets you way outside your comfort zone, your body's going to respond in a way where you're going to find yourself needing more. So don't be one of these, I'm going to start training strongman on Monday. So I'm going to fucking eat an extra 2,000 calories a day for a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Get ready for Monday. No. Your body will tell you when you need more. Get in there, get your work in, and, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, guys, and Adam and JM, I see your comments. I'm going to get to them in a quick second. Remember, guys, true strength isn't just about lifting heavy objects. It's about lifting ourselves out of our comfort zones. That's really what it is all about, guys, and discovering new capabilities. So whether you're 30, 40, 50, and this is intriguing to you, what a wonderful way. And you hear it from Jon and myself every single day, taking steps out of our comfort zone, reinventing yourselves. But what a wonderful way to get strong, get confident, and transform together, right? And be stronger, functional training, and so forth. And Johnny got a couple comments coming here. It's weird, though, from Adam. Strongman and powerlifters are all very big boys. Yeah, true story. But it was confusing to see how strong they are, but not in line with what is classified as aesthetically pleasing. And Adam, that's why for me, and I'm going to offer this up here as just pulling my pants down using an analogy from Johnny, as I was training with AJ, I had to wrap my head around. I kept getting bigger and but I wasn't getting aesthetically how I wanted to be. And he's like, oh, so what you really want is you want to have an aesthetic body and not have like a power lift or strength body. And there's definitely a difference there, whether you want to be jacked and ripped or, again, back was Johnny says, what are your goals? Hey, Jon?
And you can have both.
Yes.
That's one of the things that kind of helped me in my strength career.
Yes.
Was the fact that I was one of just a very few that had abs at 300 pounds plus.
There you go. Yeah. And then Jon,
the promoters are happy to bring that guy in because, there's a fucking list of guys with a big fucking gut.
Yes, exactly. And then JM, Jon, question for you, brother. On the nutrition base, how bad is eating a potato and 2 eggs every morning? JM Sterling Silver is asking that question of us, brother.
Dude, you're eating whole foods. There's no fucking problem with that, brother.
Exactly. I'm glad
keep it fucking simple, baby.
Yeah. And I think that's the key there. A potato comes from the ground. The egg comes from the chicken. There's no sugar in it. There's no processed crap in it. Eat it and eat it
it's fucking pretty nuts. I was just having a conversation with Terry the other day about how just straight up eggs with Celtic salt on them.
Yeah.
Tastes so fucking amazing.
Oh, I'm crushing lots
because we get accustomed. It's like it's not just our taste buds; it's our body saying, "Yes, that's what I need." So it's not just saying, "Ooh, it's here." It's a whole. It's like your body, your whole existence is saying, "Yes, that's going to make me better. I want more of that."
There you go. So guys, I encourage you, give it a shot, man. Try some strongman training, and listen. Keith and Johnny here every single day. If you're going to try it out, come hang out with us. Share your journey. Ask questions. If you're like, hey, Adam, I want to try this out, come ask for Jon for some help. Come ask me for some help. Let's do this all together. And then Johnny, Adam's comment back to you is Jon is strong and good looking. So there you go, my brother. And it must be that shiny dome. And then Adam Holroyd comes back with, I think a strong man could be any size and shape. There was the big Z's and the Marias Pedronowski, 2 very different shapes and both very strong, different weight classes.
I competed with both of those dudes.
Oh, cool, man. Oh yeah.
I mean, fuck. Yeah. Marius was like a different creature. We used to call him the Dominator. Even Zadrunas, because and Zadrunas' quote was, "Marius just knows how to win."
Oh yeah.
That sums him up right there. You don't think he should be able to do something, but if he has to do it to win, the fucking guy would figure it out. That's cool. On the right now, not go home and figure it out.
What I love about what you just said is that's your memory of this man, this fellow. So could you imagine your legacy being that somebody remembers you as always knowing how to win? It's pretty fucking cool, man. Right? Where you're just known as, like, when's the last time you interacted with a guy? Like, but your experiences and interaction with him trained your brain to think of that guy knows how to win. Like, that's a pretty cool legacy to leave for some. You know what I mean by that? Like, it's just like, wow, like the one thing you remember about the guy out of all the things, like, fuck, that guy knows how to win. Like, that's pretty cool, man.
Well, actually, I remember some fucking pretty nutty stories. Is the first thing that came to my mind. That was actually just a quote from Zadrunas. But anyway, on that level, you know, there's what you don't see in strongman is there's like almost like baseball. There's like there's multiple farm leagues.
Oh, I bet.
And you have weight classes all the way down to like fucking 150, right? So if someone wants to compete, you just go on the internet and look up amateur strongman competitions, and there's probably one, I would say, close to every weekend somewhere in the country.
That's awesome. All right, pal. There's the sound effects to walk you out. I think you got to get rolling here. It's bottom of the second hour here.
Shit. There we go.
I know. What a fun. We had a great week of shows, great guests, great conversation today. Patrick Kelly was rocking it today, man. He was getting after it. I got Jon Esputita sitting in the green room waiting for us. He's going to come back here. He's going to do a community corner celebration with me in here in a couple minutes here. What do you got going on today, pal? Before we had a quick little chat yesterday. How's Terry? How's all that personal situation?
Well, basically, he's in the hospital. He's alive, but he's not conscious. And the brain pressure is gone, so there's still holes in his head. But the part that's kind of scary is until he wakes up and starts to talk, nobody knows if there's an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, they can see that there was because they can see little bits of brain trauma, but fuck, we get little bits of brain trauma, all the time when we bonk our heads and whatnot. So, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about this whole thing, but all I know is what they told us is that he's alive, and what he's going to be like will be determined once he wakes up. Yeah. Because, sometimes in these situations when they got to fucking drill holes in your brain to release pressure, that's like emergency shit.
Yes. Oh, I know. Well, man, hopefully positive news comes out of that situation for you guys.
Well, I'm betting that because I've known him for a long time. We're buddies too, known him he used to actually manage one of the gyms where I would train.
Okay.
So I've known him for 25 years. And for the most part, if you compare him to the average person, he eats well, but he could take much better care of himself. So I am really focusing on the fact when he wakes up, he's going to be okay. And he's going to go, you know what? Any of the shit that may have caused this, and nobody really knows what it is, he's just going to start fucking going down the line and checking the boxes of being as good to himself as he can. And then this whole thing had a purpose.
Yeah. Craziness, my friend. Well, listen, you go take care of Tara, take care of your buddy there, and take care of yourself. Have yourself a great loop over the weekend.
Yeah, she's actually recovering from our yesterday's life expectancy work. So
nicely done, Andersen. Yeah.
And it is Friday. This is like our day when we normally really get down. So I was, she woke up briefly. When I was getting ready, and I told her, I said, you go on now and get yourself some rest because you got another round to get through this afternoon.
Listen, I think that maybe we're going to be competing because I'm hoping to get some life expectancy work in this weekend as well. So maybe we're both going to be coming to work on Friday with Monday with some glows happening just amongst ourselves. So another big week.
I love it.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Have a good loop, brother.
All right, pal. Take care of yourself. Okay, so how to Terry for me.
You got it.
All right. John is out of here, Jimmy. I know we got Jon Esputita hanging out, patiently waiting for us in the green room here. John, I appreciate you hanging out, waiting for us very, very patiently. It's been a lot of fun here today. Great show. A lot of great conversations. But listen, it's now time of the show here. We do the community corner, the creator spotlight. I got a guy we celebrated week before. He's got 15 plus years of experience as a growth-focused CMO and a fractional CMO. He's got deep expertise in SEO, paid acquisition, CRO, all the C's, and funnel optimization. Yeah, I said funnel, not funnel optimization. The guy specializes in building teams, aligning marketing with business goals, and scaling companies. The guy uses data-driven strategy to generate pipeline and revenue, and he's passionate about authentic, honest content, not just surface-level engagement. Yeah, he's known for showing up consistently, especially during tough times. He brings calm, clarity, and leadership without the performance. Most importantly, he breaks down real tactics, turning free offers into revenue and real life situations. Example, dealing with loyalty and loss. Listen, Jimmy, let's bring him in. Let's bring in our friend this morning, Jon Espotita. Am I saying your name right, brother? How are you, man? Yeah, that's awesome. So I think that Jimmy, is he muted on the horizontal, Jimmy? I'm just getting some comments from my producer, Jimmy, here. He's going to give me some direction. I think you might be, yeah, you are muted on your horizontal. If you can unmute yourself on your horizontal feed, that would be awesome here today.
There we go.
Awesome. There we go. There we go. Jimmy, is that better for you, brother? Awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, Jon, where are you joining us from today, my friend?
Say that again, sorry.
Where are you joining us from here today?
Today, my work agency.
Yeah, you know what? We're having some bad audio with you here, Jon. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to continue with this. I'm having a real hard time with your audio here. Where are you joining us from here today?
From Miami Beach. Sorry.
Miami Beach, yeah. Jimmy, are you? I'm not catching Johnny's audio here. I think it might be your earbuds or something. But your respect. Yeah, we're breaking up pretty bad here.
Yeah, I cut it off all the time. I don't hear what you say.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's do this. I don't think we can. I don't. Out of respect to the listeners of the show here, the quality of our conversation, I don't think it's going to perform very well. So why don't we you and I have a coffee later today? I believe we have a coffee. I think we have it on the calendar later today. I look forward to that. But I think our audio is going to prevent us from having a good conversation here today. So I'm going to excuse our conversation on the show here today, and I'll look forward to connecting with you after. Okay?
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, Jimmy. Let's keep it going here. We'll wrap up here with Jimmy, and we'll walk Jon out here. Awesome. So Jon, we do have your creator, so we are gonna celebrate that. So Jimmy, if you can give me his creator, so we can celebrate Jon's nomination for the creator spotlight. And Jon, I'm sorry about that, brother. I just want to be respectful of our audience here, and the audio was not ideal. So I want to make sure we're creating great conversational content. But I do look forward to connecting with you later this morning. But we do have your creator who you've nominated, and we are going to take the big old Mornings in the Light spotlight. Oh, I love it, Jimmy. That's awesome, man. And perfect. So here we go here. We got somebody here in, no, hold on here a second, guys. I'm going to do this right over here. Boom, boom, boom. The power of live conversation when it's happening in real time, you just figure shit out in real time is how you do it. And that's why we do what we do every single day here in the lab. Okay, let me, I'm just having a little trouble getting this one open there. Let's see here. Guys. I got it, Jimmy. Hang tight there, Jim. There we go there. Let's bring that there. Perfect. Okay. All right, guys, listen. We have the community corner creator spotlight coming up here, and it sounds a little bit like this. It's funny. Somebody who's new to this live stuff be like, panic. Oh my God, is that? Nah, just chill out. There you go. All right, you can design the layout, perfect the amenities. Yeah, you can throw in a rooftop, maybe a gym, and maybe even kombucha on tap. But if the space you're in doesn't feel right, people are going to walk away. That missing piece, art. No, not decoration, not filler, belonging. The kind of belonging that turns buildings into gathering places, that turns first impressions into loyalty, that makes a property not just functional, but felt. And the person who's built an entire business around that idea, Jimmy. That person is Jennifer Brenner Say. There it is right there. Yes. Founder and CEO of Art and Artisans and a powerhouse in the world of commercial real estate art consulting. Since 2002, she's helped transform Class A offices, student housing, healthcare campuses, and corporate HQs. And she was nominated by Jon Espotita this morning by using art to create identity, smart connection, and elevate the everyday. She partners with developers, designers, and artists to make spaces that do more than just look good. They work. for residents, for employees, for communities. And she's the reason a mural in a student lounge turns into a place to belong. Now listen, the reason a study nook becomes a mental health reset, the reason a lobby goes from transactional to transformational. And she backs it with all the data, design insight, and real world results. So I invite you, ears up. If you're building spaces for people, not just spreadsheets or AI, you need to follow Jennifer Brenner, CA, because art isn't an afterthought. It's a strategy. Think about that. And hey, Jen, here's how it works. Jon nominated you to introduce you to the lab. Now we'd love to have you on the show so that you can nominate somebody and pay it forward on the community corner, the creator spotlight here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Every day, go 9:30 Eastern time, where we celebrate somebody in the communities across the network, Substack and LinkedIn. And today we're celebrating you, Jennifer. Okay, Jimmy, let's get to the next one here, brother. I see this one here too. We got the next one coming up here. And of course, this one sits on our Substack platform where we're making great content inside the lab, inside Bappel.ai. I dropped a piece yesterday, guys, which talks about how to do a live conversation and hook your audience within the first 60 seconds. Ideally, it's from the first 3, 5, 12, 15 seconds, but keep them for 60 so you can keep them for 10, 15, 20 minutes, the whole hour, right? If you're doing live content, your goal is to keep them hanging around as long as possible. But our next creator we're going to celebrate here this morning, if you ask yourself this, you hit a certain point in life where reinvention stops being a luxury. It becomes survival. The roles you played don't fit anymore. The path you built doesn't feel like yours. And the person staring back at you in the mirror, she's asking better questions now. And this is where most people panic, but a few people lean in. They get curious. You know how much we love that word in the lab here, curious. They get real. And they start telling the kind of truth that doesn't need polishing. And that is what today's creator does. She writes, she writes about midlife with guts and humor. She makes reinvention feel less like a breakdown and more like a reawakening. She's the type to pick compassion over comfort. Yeah, she's curious. And the kind who once gave a stranger a ride home from a prison parking lot. Not out of recklessness, but because she still believes that humans are good. Who is she? This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is ridiculously excited to introduce you to Christy Keller. Yeah, Christy on the Substack platform. She's the creator of Wildhood Wanted on Substack, relentless advocate for reinvention, especially when it's messy, overdue, or wildly inconvenient. Listen, she doesn't preach, she shares. And every story she tells hits that perfect balance of hilarious and human. Christy doesn't glamorize reinvention. No, she makes it real. And she reminds you that you're never too far to go on and start again. Now, so if you're standing at your own reinvention crossroads, her work is a damn good place to start. I invite you, go check out Christy's Substack, and then, nation, go find your wildhood. There you go. There's our Creator Spotlight Community Corner. And hey, Christy, here's how it works. We'd love to have you in the lab. We'd love to invite you to our show and have you join me in the lab and take somebody in your community, in your orbit, in your neighborhood, your virtual neighborhood, and have you celebrate them. Pay it forward. We'll hand you off the light. We say, hey, Keith, I want to celebrate this person over here. So Christy, come hang out with us in the lab so we can celebrate somebody in your world on the Mornings in the Lab Community Corner. Every single day, Monday to Friday, 9:30 Eastern time. We celebrate people on Substack and LinkedIn because of the great work that they're doing. Yeah, we are all about humanity here in the lab, and that's what we do here in the lab. Okay. Well, Jim started the show today. I thought, hey, we got a big one today. I figured it's going to go to about 9:45 Eastern time. And look at that. 9:46 Eastern time. We are working towards wrapping up the show here today. What a great week. Jimmy, great week. Let me see here. Adam Holroyd. Adam, still a little scratchy. Feng Shui. Adam, you talking about my voice? I think my voice is pretty good here right now. I think I got it back. You weren't here at the beginning of the week where I did not have a voice. If you go back to listen to Monday's show, man, I dropped some content yesterday. John and I had a conversation on Monday whether you should do weights or cardio first, and I dropped a YouTube video on yesterday. Man, I was editing it, and I go listen to my voice. It's like, you might have thought I was impersonating John, but no, I actually had no voice because this time last week I was gone to the hockey rink celebrating and screaming my son's hockey. And today I'm off to the dance studio to go celebrate and scream and watch my daughter's dancing situation or competition, not situation, competition. So, oh yeah, no, you know what, Adam? It was scratchy. Yeah, that's why we walked him out there. John was great. I think John's got some great content. Love his LinkedIn profile, but his audio was horrible. I think John needs to invest in a new microphone. John Espatito, you need a new microphone, brother. That's your story over there. Okay, so listen, Jimmy, we're gonna rock and roll. Let's see what we got going next week here, Jim. What do we got going next week? I'm gonna see if I got some notes here in front of me here. There we go. There. Let's see here. Monday show. Well, today I did not get to the big topic today, guys, which was how finding my why transform my leadership. We'll do that on Monday, Jimmy. I think we'll do that Monday. I'm just taking a look here, guys. What are we on here today? Today is 2/24. Today's 2020. Yeah, I think we're going to move it to next week. That's what we're going to do. Okay, well, listen. Jim, think say goodbye. What kind of dance? Adam, she does jazz, ballet, hip hop, bunch of stuff, man. She's 15 and she's just rocking and rolling. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm just looking at my notes and just deciding what we're going to do next. It's just what you do here. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that there. Jimmy, hear the sound? Jimmy, do you hear the sound? All right, guys. JM, did I miss anything? Monk qualities this week. You need to go back and listen to. Let me think, man. Well, JM, you go listen back to all my shows, man, so we can drive the watch hours up and everything. That's pretty funny. Let me think here. Before we wrap up here, Jimmy, let's go look at the week here. Yesterday a couple days we talked about fear of rejection. Yesterday we talked about yesterday we talked a lot about JM. We talked yesterday a lot about how the power of saying no gives you more ability to say yes. I think, JM, we often get caught up in our lives. We're just saying yes to a bunch of shit. And before we know it, our priorities, our goals are being set aside because we're so used to saying yes to everybody else. So maybe, that's something to keep in mind is that, be thinking about what you can say no to, JM, over the weekend so you can say yes to the things you really want to get into. That was a big conversation this week as well. And we talked about facing fear of rejection. I sold a lot of copiers and fax machines for Xerox years ago, and I learned a lot about rejection. And rejection was really the first key to acceptance, right? So if you want to win and you want to succeed, think about, elite athletes in the world, how many times they've lost or been rejected, or you think about basketball, how many times they missed the hoop before they scored, right? So rejection is part of the game. And Adam, yeah, definitely more active than my teenage son. Good for you. And JM, fair enough. Go listen to it all, brother. But guys, listen, we're going to get out of here. I'm done talking. Yeah, I got to go to work. Guys, we'll see you Monday. Mornings live with Keith and Friends, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And I just want to sincerely, humanly, personally say, JM, I appreciate you. Adam Holroyd, I appreciate you. The other Adam, I appreciate you. Adam, I became so much more of a yes man that I ended up becoming the fuck off man. Good for you. Yes, sometimes the middle road is the way. You're bang on with that, brother. And man, listen, I appreciate you. I really do. You guys hang out with me in the morning here. You guys show up. You guys contribute. That's what we're trying to do here. Rick Clody, I appreciate you. All of you guys, thanks for good time. I appreciate you as well. And I cannot mean that sincerely enough from my heart. The work we're putting in here is tough. And if guys aren't showing up, it's hard to get the reward. So I appreciate all of you guys. Jimmy, let's go. We'll see you guys on Monday. Come back, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You know where to find us. LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. Getting out of here. See you guys.